Alright guys, so this will be part 2 of my first range session, starting with the 5-iron and going all the way to the putting green. Enjoy. Alright, I'm going to move into the 5-iron now. 5-iron for me, probably right now is flying 190, 195, but come midsummer, I actually just tend to jump on my 5-iron quite a bit, so it'll probably go out to like my 205 club. Let's see. Same mindset, staying smooth through the ball, good tempo. I just closed my wrists there. Elbow got behind my hips and just a little bit of like a pulley draw, which you never want to see, but is what it is. Here goes a motorcycle. Apologies. Alright, rebound. Again, whenever I think of a rebound swing, just good tempo. Little pushy, but for a rebound, that's all I can ask for. Nice straight, smooth swing with a push. All right. That's so good. It's probably the best one I'll hit today with a 5-iron. Hit that one really well. All right, let's see. We'll hit 3 more. Again, good tempo, good mindset. If you can have both of those, from at least my experience, it'll treat you well. It's a nice draw. Again, for me, I know that if I'm gonna miss, other than the knives you've seen today, if I'm gonna miss, it'll tend to be a little bit of an overdraw. So you might be seeing right now that my balls are, if my center line is in line with these two nicks, I like to play it a little bit left. So if I do overdraw it, it's still gonna miss like right side green. All right. That one I actually put pretty high. I don't know what I did there. Maybe I collapsed, or not collapsed, but angled my shoulders a little bit. But really good outcome there. I'll take that. Last one with the 5-iron. A little toey, but straight shot. All right. Move on to my 4-iron here. 4-iron for me probably right now is, I don't know, 200, 205 yards maybe. I don't really have any good golf balls left, so I don't know what these ball flights are going to be doing. I tend to either play a 4-iron or take the 4-iron out and play a driving 3-iron, depending on the course, depending how I'm playing. But whenever I go to practice, I tend to bring, a few extra clubs. That way I'm practicing all potential shots I might need on a given course. But enough said. A couple 4-irons here. That was my first chunk of the day, but it was a good outcome, I guess. Still move the ball down the fairway. That's really good. The wind's pushing it, then the wind just picked up. I'm gonna hit one more if it's good. I'm gonna work into a driving iron, and then we'll hit some woods, and then my driver. You know, it was thin, but I'll take it. Straight shot. Definitely find my target for sure if I needed it to. All right, nice 4-iron. It's a good start to the season. All right, we'll hit some 3-irons here. This is a driving 3-iron, but the head is a pretty thin profile, so I like to play it either teed up in the longer par 3s or just as confident playing it, off the fairway or off, even some shorter par 4s that I'm laying up on. All right. That was a straight push, and that ball must have been broken or cracked. It sort of just dropped out of the air. That one was almost a hosel. That was about as heely as you can heel it. Huh. Again, good tempo, nice and relaxed. Have some confidence. Well, this might be the last 3-iron I hit today, just given that those 3 were miserable. Nice smooth swing. Maybe I'll play it a little bit further back in my stance. Play it closer to like a 5-iron. Another push, straight push. But I struck it well. That'll come. This shaft is a little bit stiffer than my other iron shafts. It's a driving iron shaft. So I'm not surprised that, I pushed a few there. All right, I'm gonna grab a tee from my bag. Let's see here if I can find some of the shorter tees. I did. All right, I'm gonna hit some 2-irons here, but I'm not gonna play it just off the turf. I'm just gonna hit them off a tee for now. Oh, that's high. Can I break it? Just like that, guys. If you ever need to shorten a tee, that's how you do it. This mat's weird. There's none of those white rubber tees. You just stick your own in there. All right, 2-iron, guys. Again, this is a driving, same shaft, a little bit longer. I tend to always have this club in the bag because when it does get hot, it's arguably my best fairway finder. Just like that. That ball was something wrong with it, but good outcome. Hit it really well. This club for me is going probably right now only 225. But in just a few months now, you'll see it flying anywhere out to 245, 250. All right, let's repeat that. Thin miss. Thin. All right, rebound. Smooth swing. Nice and relaxed. Perfect. I crushed that one. Yeah, that one was really good. I'll take that. I'd take that midsummer. Flew straight, no spin. Gonna run for a mile. I also can hit this one up in the air to where I can land it soft on a green. But today I'm just trying to get my feel back, so it's all just trying to find a fairway. That's so good. Wow. I almost want to end there with my 2-iron. Matter of fact, I am. I'll leave it there. Move into my 3-wood. My 3-wood for me over the last season or so was hot and cold. It was either my best club or my worst club. So this season I'm definitely going to try to make some improvements where there's more of a middle. So we'll see. Nice smooth swing again. Going to hit some off the turf first, and then we'll tee some up. Low miss. Again, it's my first rain session of the year, so just the fact that I've been hitting as well as I have been, I can't be upset. Low again, but yeah, still a good shot. Those last two I pulled a little bit. I am choking down, so that could be a factor. Again, I'm not really worrying on the little stuff right now. Just want to get my feel back. One more, and then a good one. Then I'm gonna hit some drives and then end with some wedge shots. Or I guess I'm gonna hit some on a tee. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hit some on a tee. Last one off the turf. That ball was so broken. I hit that so well. And it just took a nosedive out of the air. All right, tee some up. For my 3-wood, I actually like to tee it up a little higher than normal. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I like to hit up on it, or it's like a feel, like look thing, but I've always done it. A little low burner, but I'd find a fairway, for sure. All right. Just gotta take a step back, figure out if I can find middle ground here. They're all low. Looks like the 3-wood this year is going to be starting off as a not my best club. But I did tell you guys. It's so weird. I don't know how I can hit a 2-iron so well and then be so afraid of a 3-wood. That one was really good. Maybe I just need to say how bad I am at hitting it in order to hit it good. That one was also really good. I'm going to end there. Alright, so now I'm going to move into my driver. I'm not going to hit too many. I don't want to be sore or anything. So, my driver for me probably right now is flying like 275, 280. But come even the start of the season, because I work a lot on my driver, come the start of the season, if not maybe towards the end of June, it'll jump out to 295, 300 pretty quickly. I'm going to be teeing it low today, though, because I just want to get my feel. Nice smooth swing, good extension. I like to use a lot of lag whenever I hit my driver, really any of my clubs. So we'll see. First driver swing of the season. Like a low fade. It's finding a fairway though, so I can't complain. Again, I've only left myself the worst possible golf balls probably ever. So God knows what these are going to do. Perfect. That ball was so broken. It literally took a nosedive out of the air. Tee this one up a little bit. That was horrendous. Holy shit. That was so bad. That was just a straight slice. Set up with a draw here. Coming down through. Good slot. Now, you know, there is a lot of wind blowing right to left. And none of these golf balls have dimples. So I'm wondering now, because that swing felt really good, if it's me that's letting these balls almost slice or like a really big cut, or if it's the elements. One of which is out of my control. Ball's crushed. Take that. All right, hit one more good one here. I'm gonna finish my range session up with some smooth wedge shots, and actually then I'm gonna go putt. So you guys get a little bit of both today. All right, and another good one. That'll do. Take that all day. I got my Ninja head cover from Dormy Golf, or Dormy head covers. We will end just hitting some 40, 50 yard, 60-degree shots. I always like to do that. Just sort of, you know, brings my swing back into a controlled speed, especially heading out if I were to go play today to the first hole. It's always good to, you know, sort of reel back in the swing. Just like that. Slow my swing back down. Get some feel back in the swing. That one was probably 60, 65 yards. It felt good. All right, 3 more. And I always play my 6-degree wedge almost on my back toe. I don't know why, I just sort of learned how to play it that way. It allows me to put in the air if I want, hit it low if I want, and then really control the spin. That I do a good job of, so it could be that. I don't really know. All right, last one. Nice smooth swing to end it. The wind's starting to pick up too. A little pushy. All right, guys, well, that'll be it for my first range session of the season. I'm now going to head up to the putting green, hit some putts, but yeah, like and subscribe if you guys liked what you saw. Alrighty, guys, so I'm out here on the putting range. They don't have holes in yet, so I'm going to be putting to this tee. Just going to be working, you know, 3-4 foot increments, straight uphill. You know, the green still has some like frost movement, but you know, got to get practice in whenever, wherever you can. No complaints. Yeah, so let's go from there. Again, straight uphill, just about a 4-footer. And I'm just trying to work on, you know, putter control, putter head control, good tempo. Go from there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time putting today, just given the fact that there's no holes, and this green, you probably can't see it in the video, is like a 20-degree slope from the top of it to the bottom. So if you were to putt downhill, like for the same distance you'd putt a 6-footer, you could probably use that same tempo and speed to putt literally the length of the green just downhill. I don't know if that made sense. Probably didn't. But there's a lot of slope on this green. Pulled that. You know, whenever, and I do this at the beginning of every season. What I do is I will trap the ball with my wrist, and what it does is it just closes the face and pulls it. I tend to figure that out pretty quickly, and am able to get it out of my stroke. All right, first one and third one were good. Second one, terrible. So now I'll probably be putting right around the 6-7 foot range. Again, straight uphill. It is bumping. There is quite a bit of sand on the green. I'm just trying to get a feel for my putting stroke again. And, you know, when they do put the holes in, then I'll do some more real practice where I get my putting gates out and work from there. I do use a 38-inch putting shaft. I think I switched to it 2 years ago, and since then, my putting has really improved. What it does is it just takes the use of your wrists out of it and puts a little bit more weight above your hands. And I found that to be just a complete game changer when it comes to putting. Same thing. So I sort of trapped it this way with my wrists, pulled it just a little bit. It still would have gone in, but you know, I just need to get that out. And the beauty of my putting is that I know right away the mistakes I'm making, so I'm able to change it really quickly. I don't do much with my putting. I put the ball maybe one ball ahead of the middle of my stance, and once I find a good spot to focus on the ball, I just sort of pull the trigger. Perfect. Those three would have gone in from 6 or 7 feet. Huh. Work on some 9-footers here. Again, just uphill. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, like I said, just given the conditions. Just want to get a feel for it, just like the rain session. Just want to get a feel for my stroke, get some confidence heading into the season, which is literally a week or two away. Don't know if that one would have gone in. Might have lipped in, but you could probably see it from that angle. It did bounce quite a bit. Or not bounce, literally, but it had a lot of vertical movement. Just, you know, the surface is like all up and down and really crazy. And I would say, in comparison to my course at home, this green is very long. But it still rolls pretty true for the most part. And my distance controller now is really good, which I guess that's the number one thing I'd like to focus on is distance control. I do a lot of this, you know, 1 step equals 3 feet, and I work all the way out to however far I think I'm going to need heading into either that day, or if it's a practice, I'll go out to 30 feet, sometimes even more if I'm at a place that has a green with that much room. Little pushy there. What happened was my tempo, and I noticed it right away, my tempo was just fast back. Whenever I get fast back, who knows what's going to happen. I'm going to re-hit those 9-footers, see if I can improve on those last 3 putts. Again, I set up right where the ball is, right in front of the middle of my stance. Find a nice, like, sort of spot to focus on, either in the front of the golf ball or right on the ground in front. And then I just pull the trigger. A little short, but straight putt. Had really good contact there. I used to use a milled face. Sometimes I still practice with a milled face putter just to, really get instant feedback. This putter doesn't have a milled face. It's an insert. But when you do hit an insert flush right in the center, you get that instant feedback and you know it's going to be a good putt, at least in terms of online. Little pushy again. When I say online, I mean on my putting line, which this summer, I keep saying this summer, I'm going to focus on quite a bit. Picking a target, a foot, foot and a half, 2 feet in front of the golf ball and putting to the target, making sure my putts are online right from the beginning. Sure, you can use like some training aids to help you with that. I like just feeling, unlike my irons and my wedge play, I like to feel sort of my putting stroke versus, become overly robotic. Not bad there. Little close on the wrist, but that one would have gone in, and it was a perfect speed. So see if I can't do that 2 more times and go back to 12 feet. There it is. That one was perfect all the way from the get-go. So no complaints there. Last one. See if I can actually hit that centimeter with the tee. There it is. All right. 3 good ones. Now move down to 12 feet. Hit some from 12. Again, there's nothing much to these putts. It's really just a good speed drill. Get good control of the face. Work from there. When I first step up to the golf ball, I like to stand straight up, place the putter head, in a good spot, and then I take 2 steps. A little pushy. And what that allows me to do is just be consistent. That's a big thing for me where I do like to be robotic, is making sure that my putting stroke is just, it's simple, but at the same time it's I don't want to say robotic again, but it just allows for me to repeat the same process the same way every time. That way I have confidence stepping up to putts. I'm not a great putter. I'd say I'm a little bit above average, but not putting enough on them. Last one here, because I don't really know how much this is helping me. Grass is just long. I'm strictly hitting uphill putts. Gosh, brought my purse to all 3 of those putts. But, good grouping. So consistency's there. Just got to practice. Go down to 15 feet now. Now down here, there is a little hiccup right in front of the ball. So if you see a bounce, I told you in advance. That one I really didn't like. I was short back and fast through. I like to think in my head when I am practicing, not out in the course, like tick tock, uh, which keeps it simple. You know, a lot of people nowadays do like how far back in their stance their putter goes and whatnot. Again, I like to stick to some feel. That was horrendous. Oh boy. All right, let's end here on a good one. This ridge right in front of me is playing mind games. And on a good one. Third time's the charm. There it is. That one was perfect. A little short of the hole, but in terms of execution, that was exactly what I wanted to do. All right, we'll do one more round of 15. And then I'll hit a few 3-footers and call it a day. Go get some dinner. It's a good start. Perfect execution and perfect result. Now I know some of you might want me to move that golf ball, but I'm too lazy. Ooh, that was a horrific strike. I hit that, it almost whiffed. It felt like, you know, my take back, it got stuck on the grass and I should have like stepped off, but is what it is. And not a good one. A little pushy again. I was fast back and fast through. That's good to know though. We will hit some, what I like to call gimmies, but you know, they're not always gimmies. And I know you might be thinking, oh my God, you just missed from 3 feet. To me, that's in the hole. So I'm not really all that worried about hitting the tee. That one was bad because I did that wrist thing. I got to hit one on the tee for you guys. Focus a little bit more. There it is. Alrighty, guys. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm now going to wrap things up and go get dinner. Alrighty, guys. So just wrap things up on the putting green. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today. It's going to be a lot of that in the next like week or so. And then once school ends and summer rolls around, there will be a lot more games, a lot more matches. You'll meet a lot more of my buddies who will be a part of the channel. Again, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe if you want to, and then let me know if there's anything you want to see that I can do on the range. And I will see you guys next time.